Okay, well, let's get this recap done that that we were working on traded today. It's been a long, long day. It's 1:46 in the morning. Oh, on Wednesday morning. So Monday's overnight trade and Tuesday's trades are long gone, but we need to review them just to go over everything and have this video journal of the trades so we can always go back and look. Uh, so in the Asia session, before I went to sleep, and I was getting ready for bed when I saw this. We were building up some really good sell side liquidity here, and it was just a slow grind up. At first it didn't want to break the DRT level, and then finally broke it, and then had some back and forth there. We also had this 15-minute fair value gap, a little bit of it left, which we ended up inverting, but it didn't hold. I guess it did for a minute anyway. But we also had on the 4-hour chart, because that's where I start pretty much everything. What's it, what's it the 4 hour? No, 15. It's actually what I was on the 15-minute. Okay. So on the 15-minute, what I noticed, I see this over here, and I've noticed this before, and I do mark them out when I see price action kind of doing something like this around it. Um, we had the 15-minute fair value gap here that we inverted, um, and more or less held. But these wicks, now I'm going to ignore the middle candle, okay? What I want is the first and the third candle here. And I want to measure from the bottom wick of the first candle to the top wick of the third, okay? And I look at that as a balanced price range because we had sells, buys, and more sells, okay? So this little area in here, buyers and sellers were pulling back and forth, um, and pretty much equalize that price range, right? Okay. So when you look at it, um, I mean, one, you have a very hardware down uh, SMA group that's leveling out the 200, the balanced price range, and the DRT level. Now, if I were to draw premium and discount, I'm not sure about this, but we're gonna take a look at it. Okay. Um, I want to see premium and discount from this DRT level to this DRT level. Okay. So we never broke into premium pricing of these two DRT levels, which means we didn't break above the halfway point. We also never got above what I marked out as the halfway point of the balanced price range. Okay. Uh, uh, and we had a big down push at the end of the day before, right? Which inverted a 4-hour uh, bullish fair value gap. We came right back down and inverted it. Um, so we have a 4-hour inverted gap up here that we're pushing into as well. Okay. So basically, when that starts to fail, so we have the initial range right here. We push up out of range. We fall back down into range. Then we push up again, what I call the fake out breakout. And then we get a bear 180. Okay. Now, this bear 180 is not off of the SMA, it's above it. Okay. So that candle does not close back below the 21. even though it's a Bear 180. I expect it to continue because Bear 180s will have a very good continuation rate. Okay. I waited for the next candle to close below the 21 SMA. It's not below the 200, but it is below the 21. And we have all of this sell side liquidity sitting down here. Okay. Um, all of these bottoms here. So I entered there. Um, we pushed down. We closed below the 200, pushed back up to uh, to the 21 and the 9. Kobe, Missy, no. Don't make me come back to it. Kobe, Kobe, give me a moment. Kobe, stop. Go lay down. All right. All right, you all know I gotta deal with my dogs every once in a while. So then we come down and we actually have a color change from that push up where we break the bottom of the last up candle, the body of it. Um, and I added there. So I was in 40 micros. I also pulled my stop down to the body of that up push back into the SMAs. So I'm risking $175 and my target is $1,500. And I go to sleep. That is a fantastic risk reward. I don't worry about it. I don't think about it. I'm just going to let it play out. Went to bed, woke up the next morning with $1,500 in profit. Okay. Um, so that was that was really good. Um, me like. Always good to wake up with a $1,500 profit, right? All right. So then we come into the New York Open, and I'm always looking for um, the 5 minute opening range breakout, right? Now, I'm not just looking for it to break the range. I want to see a fair value gap made there, right? So the first 5 minute candle, we draw a range box, and then we come to the 1 minute. So we're looking for the fair value gap to be made on the 1 minute chart, okay? Um, and we push up to the top of the range first after it was made, and we wick through it and then close below it. That's when we start going down. Now we make a fair value gap right here, but it's not outside of the range. Okay. The first fair value gap made outside the range was a tiny little one right here. Um, that candle we pushed outside, closed outside of range. The wick came back up, stopped, and pulled back and closed outside of range, creating the fair value gap with a closure outside of the 5 minute range. And I entered a few seconds before this candle actually closed. We were around 20 seconds left, and we were down towards the bottom of the candle. So I knew this fair value gap was going to get made. So I went ahead and entered about 20 seconds before the close of the candle, and I was just targeting the bottom of the moving average envelope. Okay. Um, and it took about less than 3 minutes to get down there. So that was a little over $500 because I only had 10 micros on 1 mini instead of the uh, full 2 minis that I normally would have. And the reason for that is I had already made $1,500. Okay. I don't want to risk any more than I have to. And I know that if I get my 10 points out of this, that it'll be a $500 to $600 depending on where I get to close it at. And I'll be at my $2,000 mark for the day. because when I reach $2,000 in a eval or funded account, I'm done. There's no more trading for the day. Okay. But this is a practice account, and the reason for a practice account is to keep practicing. So I wanted to see if I could make any more money on it. Well, you know, oops, we can delete that now anyway. Um, we broke outside of the envelope and then finally got back inside the envelope, and the envelope was still moving in a downward slope. Okay. So anytime I could find an entry that would get me back down to the bottom of the envelope, I'll take that as a quick trade. The first one was this push here back below the SMAs. I took it and it pretty much immediately, within a few minutes, stopped me out. Okay. Um, I took another one right here. I didn't take this one um, because I figured if we got below this low, uh, then I could get in. And we also had the previous daily low right here that held right here. So I want to see if this was a retest to go higher. So I didn't take it. Well, it did go higher, but it never broke this high. And we tried several times to come up and break that high and couldn't. And then we got a fair value gap made back through the SMAs. Okay. So I entered on the creation of this fair value gap and it pushed down a little bit, went right back and stopped me out. Then when we got over here, we were in a narrow state with the 200 and the 21, right? So this is an Oliver Velez setup. Well, we got our clearing bar that closed back below the 21 in a narrow state from the 200. Okay, so I tried one last time because we had built up some really nice sell side liquidity here. And my whole goal was to get down to the 50% of the 4 hour range sometime today because we had already come down to here, okay, from the Asia session. So if we could break the Asia session, I figured we could get down to equilibrium with the 4 hour chart, right? Well, it just didn't want to do it. So I gave back about $600 here, and ended the day still with my original $1,500 profit and ended the last 7 days of trading with 50, basically $5,500. And that is a 100% daily win rate. I have not lost money in the last, oh, wait a minute. There was one. There was one. Hey, um, there was one day I ended up losing like $700. Oh, it made it back on that overnight trade. So it was the same day. The overnight trade, the $1,500 overnight trade, took away my losses from like Tuesday night, Monday night. So Monday, I think, was the day that I lost. Oh well. Anyway, um, it might not be a 100% daily win rate. Okay, I'll have to go back and look over the last six trading days, 7 trading days now. But for 7 trading days, I'm pretty happy. Um, we're at a week and a half, and I've made more than $2,500 a week, um, and still have 3 trading days left in the week. So um, after those 3 losses, I just quit trading. I needed to get back to work, drive a few hours, take a nap, and go make my delivery. So I just quit paying attention to the market, and looks like we just started to go back up to the daily open. and end pretty much flat on the day, uh, right back at the daily open. So yeah, now we're just kind of watching the Asia market. Um, it is following the upslope of uh, the envelope. Um, we'll see what we're looking like. Looks like it's having some trouble here at this daily. Uh, we'll see if that rolls over. But from the midnight uh, opening price, we are definitely above midnight opening price. We'll have to see if that changes in the London session. Um, so did we run up or did we gap up? We ran up. Wow, look at that. All right. Smack. Because we opened back here. Okay. Opened there, pulled down, swept the low, and then ran. That would have been nice. Um, oh yeah, that was Tuesday's price action and trades. Um, let's see if we go back into Tuesday where I missed everything. This would have been a really nice trade after breaking through the 200, tapping that, getting the buy wick, and then shooting straight back above the SMAs. Um, yeah, you could have entered anywhere in this area or even waited for the clearing bar here off the 9 and the 21 and then just risk that bar and you would be good. Um, that's 43.75 back up to the daily, 7 points. Would have been a good, nice $400 or $500 there. Um, if you got in at the close of this candle, you're pretty well fucked. Uh, but that's too late in the day for me to be trading anyway. Uh, this probably would have been the last trade I took. Uh, that did, but it would have been right back at a daily. Waited, it bounced, then it bounced and break, and then it fall over too fast to catch. So yeah, this trade I could have caught. Um, Possibly this trade as well. Um, Double bottom, previous daily low, bounce up, boom, close above the SMAs, or wait for the break above the 200. You could enter there, risking that candle. That would have been a really nice trade. That would have got you 35. Oh yeah, definitely would have got you your 10 points um, on that last push, a little bit more actually, about 13 points. That would have been a really nice trade. Um, because if you did get in down here, you've also got a color change over here when you get this big push off the SMAs. That clearing candle you could add there and then run uh, 4 contracts up. Um, so yeah, there was that would have been a really nice trade there. Um, you could even wait, you get above and then you do all this consolidation. This consolidation is just waiting for the 21 to catch up, right? And then you get a clearing candle above all of that right there. Your 21's already in an uptrend. So when that candle breaks breaks out, you could take that, just take, you know, uh, 40 to 50. That basically gives you your, might not have made exactly 50, but close to it. A 9.8 or 9 point trade there. So yeah, there's always a few more opportunities around. Um, once I got back down to my 1500. Now, again, these three losers, I probably would not have even taken. Okay. Uh, because I was already at my $2,000 mark for the day. So I could look at the week as saying, I'm up $6,100. Um, because I would have actually made these three trades. But we'll leave them on the books because we did take them, we did lose them, um, and we'll just see because there's going to be weeks or days where I make those mistakes. Maybe I'm not at you know $2,000 by the time I get to a couple of losing trades. Maybe I'm only at 1,000, whatever. So I'll leave them on the books. We got 3 more days this week to trade this, and then we're going to be moving it to um, either my personal account, trading micros, or um, prop account. Uh, go grab a 150K account from TradeFi, whether it's a eval or straight to funded. I'm not sure yet. Probably an eval, um, just because I'm still not 100% on this, um, and I am still making these kinds of mistakes. Um, uh, we'll we'll just definitely want to wait and take a look there. Okay. Um, so yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And the market will be open in about 7 hours. Um, I'm probably going to lay down and grab a little bit of sleep before the market opens, and we will see everyone at that time live in the Discord.